Hello and welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a hot sauce recipe I've been working on for a little while now, and it uses some of my favorite chilies. I'm calling it Piri Piri Cherry. It's a bit of a mouthful, but so is the sauce. Let's get outside, go pick ourselves some fresh peri peris and bring them back to the kitchen. Here we have our beautiful chilies that we've just picked. Make sure you give them a good clean. You want to get rid of any of the dust or dirt that might be on them. Also any of the dead flowers that might still be on the chilies themselves. Also try and get rid of as much of the green stalk as you can. Obviously a little bit on there is not going to be too much of a problem, but you can see the majority there don't have a stalk. I have half a kilogram of chilies, so it's 500 grams of chilies. Of course, with a name like Piri Piri Cherry, this sauce is of course going to have some cherries in them. I originally was trying to make this sauce with fresh cherries straight from my tree. I just couldn't get it right. The flavors just didn't work. I tried about 4 or 5 different combinations and methods. However, I gave glacé cherries a go and they worked absolutely perfectly. These just really take it to the level that I want the sauce to be. So hopefully you're going to think the same, you're going to enjoy it as well. This is obviously a small batch that I'm trying today, so there'll be limited bottles of this, but I'm really looking for some feedback from you guys to tell me what you think of it, and that will dictate whether I make more next year. Some other ingredients we're going to be adding, we have some salt. I'm going to be doing about 20 grams of salt, so this is a tablespoon of salt. I might adjust that a little bit as we progress the recipe, but we're going to start off with 1 tablespoon. We're going to be adding some ginger. This is about 40 grams of ginger. You can go a little bit more than that if you like. I wouldn't go above about 100 grams of ginger with this, but 40 to 50 grams I think does the job just perfectly. We're also going to add some allspice. This is half a tablespoon of allspice. I'm going to give it a taste when we're mixing it up. Lastly, we're going to be adding some apple cider vinegar, and this is half a liter of apple cider vinegar, so 500 grams or 500 milliliters. And we're also going to be adding water. So let's get mixing. This is a pretty straightforward recipe. First things first, and probably the most complex part here, besides picking our chilies, is to just make sure that our ginger is peeled. There's a total of 500 milliliters of water that's gone into this, and I've also added an extra half a tablespoon of allspice as well as half a tablespoon of salt. And I think this is ready to go for the next steps, where we're going to give it a bit of a simmer. First, let's have a look at this. Wow, that looks amazing. Before we get cooking, I just want to quickly test the pH. It's always good practice to know what the pH is of your sauce, especially because I am going to be selling it. That's perfect. So that is sitting at 3.6 pH, which is right about where I expected it. Actually there, 3.5. That's exactly where I expected it. So 3.5 pH. Lovely acidic sauce, which means a good shelf life as long as we process it okay and bottle it okay in the next steps. looking good. I'm going to switch it off now. It's been boiling for just over 10 minutes, probably about 12 minutes now. The next stage is to sieve out all the seeds. Now this part, if you're doing this for yourself and you want to keep the seeds in, that's perfectly fine as well. But I'm going to take the seeds out because I want a nice smooth sauce, and this is just going to look awesome. Everything has been sterilized and sanitized. Make sure that you're doing that, especially if you are going to bottle it and expect to keep it for quite a while. You want to make sure that everything's as clean as it can be. The smell here is amazing. It's difficult to breathe. There's a strong vinegar smell as well as a beautiful chili smell. I'm going to try not to splash this everywhere. That looks awesome. Okay. Try and squeeze out as much of the liquid as we can, all the goodness. And here's another little tip. This stuff here is going to taste amazing on some ribs a bit later. So I'm going to coat some ribs with this, and we'll have delicious cherry glazed ribs with a bit of a bite. Okay, I think we're done there, and that looks absolutely stunning. There still are a few seeds in there, but I think it adds to the charm, so I'm going to leave them in there. I'm not going to run it through the mill again. But there we have it, our beautiful sauce. There's no point me tasting it now. When the sauce is hot like this and you taste it, you're not going to get the true flavor of what you're actually getting from this. So you do need to wait for it to cool down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get to bottling now. So let me get that done and I'll be right back with you. The sauce is all bottled and labeled. Another gorgeous label from my wife. Thank you, Mrs. ChilliChump. And it just looks fantastic. The color of the sauce is incredible. I have noticed there's a little bit of separation. I'll try and get a close-up for you. And that means I'll probably add a little bit of xanthan gum the next time I do this. But I'm looking for the feedback to see what you guys think. I already have some feedback from Mrs. ChilliChump. She loves it, and that's why I have a half bottle over here. And this is what I'm going to use to do a bit of a taste test. She's had more of this than I have actually at the moment. That looks amazing. I'd really love this color. It's so vibrant. It is a sweet sauce, so I'm expecting that. I'm expecting a little bit of a burn, but the sweetness will offset that quite a bit. There's quite a lot of cherries and sweetness that goes along with it. Glacé cherries. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But glacé cherries are sweet by nature. They're candied cherries. Let's give it a go. That is amazing. I'm not a big one for sweet sauces, but that is really nice. I think I'm gonna have a little bit more. I'm trying to think. I can get the ginger, perfect amount. It's an iterative approach that I take when I'm making hot sauces. I'll go with the basic structure of what I'm looking for in a hot sauce. I know what the end goal will be, what sort of flavors I'm expecting out of it, you know, how much sweetness, how much spice, you know, what other sort of savory flavors I want to come through as well. And then I start working on it. This one has probably gone through, I'd say, about 8 iterations now. So this will be the 8th or 9th iteration, and I think that's pretty much nailed the flavor. The ginger I kind of got right after about the 2nd or 3rd iteration. But it was always the cherries. It came out very, very watery. This texture here, even though it has separated a little bit on some of these bottles, you can see that, I think, but you can see a little bit of separation there. It's not as bad as what you'd get from just using fresh cherries. So a little bit of xanthan gum, and I mean a very little amount, probably 0.005% to the volume of sauce that I've made here, and I think that will do the job. But just give it a shake and you're just fine anyway. I mean, if I shake this up, that's perfect sauce. So it really is a tasty one, and the allspice definitely comes through as well. I think without the allspice it would just be overpoweringly sweet. It is a very sweet sauce anyway. It is a sweet chili sauce essentially, but the allspice really just grounds it. It just brings it back down. balances the flavors out quite nicely. That is awesome. When I talk about a sauce being balanced, what I'm talking about is the fact that I don't want any one ingredient overpowering everything. With this, obviously, it is a sweet sauce, so the sweetness is going to be up front, and then the spice kicks in again towards the back. If you used a pepper other than a peri peri, let's say you're going to use a Carolina Reaper with this, I think the balance will be upset, and you're not necessarily going to enjoy it as much. I mean, give it a go if you are going to try this recipe. If you want to try something a lot hotter, then go for it. I probably could do a little bit more heat than this. The ultimate thought behind this was really for me to make a sauce that Mrs. ChilliChump was really going to enjoy. She doesn't really do the hot stuff. This here, I think, is on the cusp of the heat level that she can endure. So she really likes it. I'm probably going to have to keep back a couple bottles, but I'll be making more of this for sure. And I'm looking forward to the feedback from any of you that did manage to get a bottle of this. Hopefully there's going to be a few of you. And if you do, please, send me an email. Let me know what you think. And yeah, I really hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you give this a try as well. Let me know what sort of changes you might make. If you do make one that is a lot hotter, if you use something like a habanero in there or something like that, then let me know in the comments below. Very keen to hear how it turns out for you. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. And until then, stay safe and stay spicy.